This episode of the Wayang Crew podcast is brought to you by Times Cineplex. Yo, welcome back to yet another episode of the Wayang Crew podcast. It's me, Kev, once again on this podcast where we talk about all things movies, especially movies that are playing here in Brunei Darussalam. This week we're going to be talking about a movie which is called Pet Sematary, which is a remake of a Stephen King adaptation of his novel of the same name. But first, let's get to my co-host. It's Tibi.
Hey.
Yo. You're stressed out?
Yeah, I'm stressed out.
Still stressed.
Because of the movie?
Yeah, it hasn't been a good few weeks for movies for me.
No, just for you.
Yeah, it's for me. It's just too stressful.
Yeah, why is that?
I have no idea. I don't want to go out of movie stressed. I want to be like, oh yeah, that was a good movie, but no. This is like, oh, the questions. And the, questions on why some actions were done in that movie.
Okay.
Just how it is.
All right. Up next is the co-host of the podcast. It's Nazu.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome back. How are you this week?
Yeah, good. Having movie marathons, so...
Nice. Are you preparing for Avengers Endgame?
No.
No, you're not.
No, I was watching Resident Evil.
Oh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Wasn't that on like HBO?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then from there, I just...
spiraled into
It
Spiraled
spiraled
into
into
the
like
Resident Evil-verse.
Yeah.
All right. He's back this week. I told you he would come back. See?
Oh,
See?
no. Thanks
Last-
for having me.
Yeah, I haven't even introduced you. Last week I said that, he's a guest, but I think this week we'll upgrade him a little bit to one of our panelists this week.
Oh, wow.
It's his second time on the podcast. Please, let's welcome back Afif.
Hey, everyone.
What's up?
Good. I'm good.
You got all shy.
No, yeah, I don't know. It's
He's always shy.
Yeah.
He's always shy.
I'm always shy.
Right. Anyway, as I mentioned up top, this week we're going to be reviewing a movie called Pet Sematary, which is already showing here in local cinemas in Brunei. But first, let's get to our regular piece of the show, which is the news. Let's kick things off with trailers this week. We got a much anticipated trailer from the DC universe, and it's for Joker, the movie, the upcoming Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie standalone. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good. I'm excited for this. We saw like a bit of Robert De Niro. We see Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck. He plays that character in this upcoming movie. And this is like a totally different Joker, although he is the Joker that is from, I think, The Killing Joke.
Yes. I
Okay.
believe so.
I'm not very familiar with that storyline. Do you want to say something about it?
No, I forgot all
He
about
killed
it.
Robin, right? He killed Robin,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. This is where he killed Robin.
Which...
I mean, The Killing Joke is his kind of like his origin story.
Origin story.
Yeah.
But is it also Arthur Fleck?
That I have no
Oh,
idea.
I'm not sure.
I
See, this is why
don't
we need
say.
Kai.
Yeah, we
Kai.
need him.
Yeah, for those of you who are wondering where Kai is, he's not in Brunei at the moment. He's off chasing his dreams in the land of La La Land, which is LA.
And
But
also, he's attending Star Wars.
well, that's like a secret, so we'll get the lowdown from him when he gets back.
Star Wars sale edition.
Right.
In LA.
Yes.
Nice, nice save there.
Nah, Star Wars sale. So if you guys are from LA, there's gonna be a sale somewhere.
Toys R Us.
Yes.
All right, so this trailer it dropped earlier this week. It's a very good look at this new and upcoming Joker. It's Joaquin Phoenix's take on it. I'm excited.
Yeah,
it can't come soon enough.
Looks like a biopic.
It,
Yeah.
it kind of does.
Yeah.
All right. We also got a trailer this week for a movie which is not in the vein at all with the Joker movie. And it stars Dave Bautista, who is more well known for his portrayal of Drax on the big screen in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a movie called My Spy. And what this essentially is, it's a kid's comedy movie. So he's doing a rock here.
Yeah. Wrestlers. I don't know.
He started off with like the action thing, and then now he's moving into the comedy kid
This
thing.
is
Yeah.
his the Scorpion King.
I think his Scorpion King.
It's
No,
not
Guardians of the Galaxy
No,
is his Scorpion King.
His what is it
The mummy, the mummy.
his fairy, tooth fairy.
Yeah, the Tooth Fairy.
So this
Like-
is his Tooth Fairy.
Yeah. Beautiful one.
Okay, to be fair, like having watched the trailer, it's not that bad. But then again, this is just a trailer.
Not something I would want to watch in the cinema.
But if it was out on digital, or
like-
if you could watch it at home, this
Yeah,
is
like
probably a
HBO.
home movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what Mr. Bean movies are now. Like you wouldn't
Yeah.
go out and watch a Rowan Atkinson movie,
Nah.
like Johnny English. Like that's not really a theater movie anymore, is
when,
it?
When I watched the trailer, it reminded me of Are We There Yet? So that's how bad it is.
Are we there yet? Like Ice.
That movie.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
All right, so you're obviously not a fan of this.
Not after that.
Okay, would either of you watch this movie?
I'll give it a shot.
Maybe I'll just
Why
bring
not?
my nephew.
You have an excuse.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, up next, no excuses for this. This is the news that we were all waiting for. We knew it was going to happen. Captain Marvel has blasted past $1 billion
Yeah.
at the box office worldwide. Now, this is a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
For Marvel, obviously, because it's a Marvel movie, one, but more so because it is the first ever solo female superhero movie.
Yes.
And this speaks volumes. But a part of me thinks that the reason why people are so interested is mainly because, yes, it is Captain Marvel and the first time that we see a female superhero from the
Yeah.
Marvel Universe. But the other half is like, I think they just want to see what she is as a preamble
Yeah.
to Endgame.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think it's like oh, I love Captain Marvel,
No.
blah blah blah.
Yes,
I think it's more like, oh, what's she gonna do?
Yeah.
Because-
How's
How's
she
she
gonna
gonna help?
contribute? Yeah.
Because collectively, a lot of the hardcore fans of Captain Marvel are not happy
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
happy.
with the you're not happy
I'm not
with the
happy.
Captain Marvel story or the movie
Yeah.
in general because they changed quite a bit from the
Yeah.
source material. So I think that this is just driving the numbers ramping up to Endgame.
It's like a huge trailer for Endgame.
Like a
It's a
2-hour
very long
trailer.
trailer.
Like a
Yeah.
2-hour trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have a point there.
It's like,
Yeah, it's setting the scene.
Setting the scene, and then at the end we get like a little very nice post-credit
Yeah.
scene with like the Avengers that are still there.
which
Yeah.
people are wrong because they don't get anything from the Avengers in the movie
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
except for
Much.
But they can hope.
I guess.
We have ours.
Speaking of Avengers Endgame, now there are records that are being kept by certain movies that have come out. Previously, this record, which is the first hour ticket sales, was held by The Force Awakens, right? So when they
Yeah.
opened ticket booking lines from 2015 when Force Awakens came out until now, it has held the record. Avengers Endgame has broken that record by 3 times. Like in that 1 hour, they sold 3 times as many tickets as they did for Endgame. Fever pitch. It's
Online.
Or
gonna
maybe
be.
they have 3 more counters open.
3 times more counters open. That makes sense. Because last time it was just,
To be fair, I mean, the fever pitch has even reached Brunei shores at this point.
right.
Brunei
Yeah.
Cinemas. Like, ticket sales went live here in Brunei
Yeah.
this Friday.
Yep.
And our very own panelist this week, Afif, it was in one of the photos being circulated on social media saying that, look, this is the line at certain cinema. And,
he's so happy in the
and he's just there, like, chilling, like, yeah, check me out. I'm going to get my ticket.
Yeah. Quite satisfied with that.
Yeah. And you went there. You lined up at around 2-ish.
2:30 actually.
Yeah, 2:30.
Yeah.
Just in time to get in line.
in the line.
Because they opened the counters at 3.
Yeah.
And then, there was it was quite
I even asked them earlier and they said, oh, you have to wait at 3.
Yeah,
So I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to loiter around until
you-
a line was formed.
So you actually waited.
Oh, you
Yeah,
should
I
have just
did.
made the line first.
Oh, technically I was with my friends
Started the
talking
signs.
and then
Start
it became a line.
Queue for Endgame. And you're
You know what?
already in the front.
How long was the line?
I got my tickets like in 5 minutes.
No, I
Just you.
want the line.
I don't know. It was like
Okay,
all the way to the back.
Would you say like 100 people? No. 50?
Like what?
80 to 100. I
Wow.
would say.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. I mean, by
Yeah.
Brunei
And
standards.
that's one mall. One
the
cinema.
one
cinema,
cinema.
yeah.
I mean, Brunei, we have 3. I got a couple of questions from friends this week. I mean, these are not like hardcore movie fans like us. These are just normal people who I meet on like a semi-daily basis, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, have you got your tickets for Avengers already?" I'm like, yeah." It's like, still have? I'm like, what are you asking me for?
Yeah.
Go yourself.
Go.
So I mean, these are people who are not necessarily like I mentioned, like hardcore fans, but
Yeah.
they do occasionally go watch movies.
Yeah.
But they
and-
don't watch the premieres.
Yeah, I don't think well, but this has driven them to kind of want to
yeah.
watch the premiere
Yeah.
as well. So all around good news for Marvel and Avengers and Disney. There was a big shareholders meeting this week with Disney where they revealed their new updated movie slate for 2019.
Wow.
Now we know that there's like 8 movies coming out from Disney. That's like The Lion King and Avengers
Aladdin.
Endgame, Aladdin. That's all coming out, and we knew all this. But since the acquisition of 20th Century Fox has gone through and it's official, they have included those movies in the slate as well. So Disney is now looking at a slate of of like 20 movies for the year 2019
Wow.
after the acquisition. And New Mutants, a movie that we doubt is ever going to come out,
Is going to come out.
is coming out.
Dell's gonna be so happy.
Dell's going to be so happy for this on 2nd of August. So I guess the bet is kind of settled between Kai and Dell. Dell still believed that it was coming out.
Wow.
Although it had been delayed by a year. Well, more than a year, actually. And Kai's just saying, nope, they're going to just dump it on digital. No, it's coming. It's going to have a theatrical release, and that's expected right smack in the middle of summer, which is 2nd of August. So I guess
Are
we'll
they
watch
gonna
it.
Disneyfy it though?
I don't think so, because there are tricklings.
You know when you said Disney is like singing Princess.
I am a new mutant. Snink, snink. Anyway, there are tricklings from Hollywood where they say that Fox will still sort of run as its own entity. It's just that the movies will be marketed and distributed mainly by Disney.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't exactly know how this is going to work just yet, but yeah, that's what we hear. Here's something that we finally have an answer to. Well, more accurately, we have a picture, because this week there was a leaked photo of Henry Cavill's mustache
Yeah.
during Justice League's reshooting.
reshoots, yeah.
Now, if you don't already know what happened, what essentially happened was they shot Justice League and that was done and dusted, and then they came back for some reshoots. But at the time of the reshoots, Henry Cavill was already attached to Mission Impossible Fallout, where he played the villain, and he had this huge, like, 70s porn star mustache, which
No idea what that.
which which Paramount was adamant and said that no, you cannot shave his mustache off. You're gonna have to green screen and CG it off. And when the movie opened in
It's so
November,
obvious.
in November of 2017. It was one of the first shots of the movie, and myself, Tibi, and Dell were in that theater, and he turned around and we went, "Whoa, that is bad." Anyway,
Even with the filter, with the static TV, we could. That's
There
not
was
normal.
that's why it was obvious because of the static.
I don't know.
TV.
I think
No,
they tried to cover it.
it's like his upper lip didn't move. It was
All
just,
right.
it was
Yeah,
just
it was,
plastic.
and his upper lip was very thin. I
Yes,
remember.
it was.
like-
So a photo has come out, and it's all over Twitter. I saw it on Instagram. A couple of people shared it, and it is essentially him with the Superman hairdo, but with that huge thick mustache. So we finally can put
Yeah.
the whole thing to rest. And yes, it happened. Mustache Gate was a thing, and it's over and done with. So let's just look forward.
I mean, in a different dimension, he shaved it off, and then for the Mission Impossible movie, he wore a fake mustache. That's gonna be even worse.
You're right, though. You know what? I just thought of this. Like, this opens like a whole can of worms for like, a superhero argument, right?
Yeah.
Superman is like super infallible, and you cannot cut him. You cannot like his hair out. Now, how does he shave? I'm curious.
He has a kryptonite razor blade.
Kryptonite-
Every time he shaves, he's weak.
Oh yeah, how does he?
I mean,
shave?
I've seen this in the animated series before. He used his laser eyes to
on the
shave-
mirror.
Yeah,
No.
I'm serious.
Come on.
wouldn't he be able to hurt himself?
So he burns his.
That's what I remembered.
no.
He uses his laser eyes to shave.
Yeah, I want to see that in an actual
But
movie.
when he was
Yeah.
a teenager, he didn't have laser eyes.
No, he did.
He did.
He just
When
didn't.
was a
He probably
teenager?
didn't know how to control it very
Ah,
well.
so he couldn't shave.
So instead of like shaving cuts, he would get burn marks.
Still so many things.
So many things.
DC could do to tell us how
Please
he does
explain.
his daily life.
Terminator. There is a new movie coming out. It's called Terminator: Dark Fate, and they're bringing back the old cast. Linda Hamilton's back. Arnold Schwarzenegger's back.
Yeah.
Literally old cast.
Old cast, yeah. I mean, the old cast, and they're older. It is going to be back, and they are now in post-production, which means that they are touching the film up. But some stills have come out as promos for this movie, and Arnold is looking really old. Linda Hamilton is looking really old.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton caused some waves this week because she very publicly dissed Terminator 3 and Genesis, saying that, those movies, no, they're not.
Because she wasn't there.
Well, I guess, I'm excited to see where this Terminator movie takes us. in terms of where the franchise goes.
Yeah.
But the fact that the cast is already this age, you kind of know that this is the last movie.
Yeah.
For them, at least.
For them, there's gonna be another Terminator eventually.
Really?
It'll never end. It's like the rise and fall and the return of
and
whatever.
fall and return.
Oh, and guess what? It's back again.
Doesn't Arnold have a son?
He has, I think, like a couple of sons.
Yeah, so.
No.
I don't think they're
they're
bodybuilders
not gonna
like
use-
him. They probably
They're
use
not strong
Dave
mans.
Bautista now.
Huh?
They're
yeah.
probably gonna use Dave Bautista.
They're not gonna have his accent though. That's the thing. Like part of the Terminator is the accent.
The Austrian accent.
You see the T-800, you imagine an Arnold
get
voice.
out.
Yeah.
Go to the chopper.
Come with me if you want to live. You know, like, it doesn't work. It's like, hey, come with me if you want to live. Like, no, it doesn't.
Get
'cause
to
they're
the chopper.
American.
Because his kids will be Americanized. Tibi mentioned that this is never going to end. Here's something that is probably looking like it'll never ever end. It's Avatar and the sequels that are coming out. We are getting an Avatar 2, 3, and 4. Kai is very, very excited about this. I'm happy that he's not here. But the news this week is that Vin Diesel has joined the Avatar sequels in an undisclosed role. So we don't really know
I
what
bet he's like an American soldier or something.
Yeah, he looks
Like
like
a,
one.
like
And
a Marines or
and
something?
he's a pilot.
What?
Why a
Yes,
pilot?
because what's the previous pilot? His girlfriend in Fast and Furious.
Michelle
Michelle
Rodriguez?
Michelle
Rodriguez?
Rodriguez was a pilot.
Oh, she was there?
She was.
Yeah.
She's the
Oh.
pilot that
That crashed, I think.
She was, yeah.
she helped.
She helped switched over to the Navi side.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Vin Diesel's the boyfriend, and it's like, no, I'll revenge you. Pilot.
It's about family.
And then there's like a
You
like
hurt my family.
like a race all of a sudden, like a car chase.
There'll be some scantily clad like
Yeah.
girl like, are you ready? Are you ready?
And then like
Do you think he'll be playing a human or
Yeah.
would he be voicing?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's true. He could be like voicing
You know,
a Groot-like creature.
motion. Oh no, like motion capture, and you know
Yeah.
you have
He's
his
one of the
expressions.
blue person.
Navi. They call Navi. Let's not piss Kai off. We want him.
The Navi.
Smurfs. Are any of you here excited to watch
Yeah.
like an Avatar sequel?
I'm
Yeah, I
excited, but the fact that it's until 4 sounds draggy.
4 and a possible 5th.
Oh,
It's like Game of Thrones. They know what's going to happen.
like just say 2 first, and then progress
Very
from
ambitious.
there.
Yeah. Try first.
Yeah.
Mana tahu not nice, right? Here's something that was not good, but it's getting a reboot by none other than James Gunn. It's the Suicide Squad movie. That's getting a reboot because of the whole debacle of James Gunn being dropped by Disney, but that has been fixed. He's been rehired to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But in between that, he signed up with DC and said, look, if you guys want to make like a reboot of the Suicide Squad, I'm down for it. So he's currently in pre-production for that. There was some news a couple of weeks ago saying that Will Smith is not returning to play the character of Deadshot, and Idris Elba, might pick up the role. That has now been extinguished fully because it has come out from James Gunn himself. He said Deadshot's not going to be in this movie.
What?
Yeah.
But
I mean, Deadshot is an integral part of the Suicide Squad. If
Yeah.
if I remember that correctly.
yeah, you need a sniper.
Yes.
I've never.
Who's gonna be the sniper now?
Rick Flag.
Oh, the army guy?
Well, the guy who was in charge of the he's coming back apparently.
Oh,
Boomerang. What's his guy
Okay.
name? Boomerang. The guy
He's
with the
from-
Boomerang?
he's
Captain Boomerang.
RoboCop.
yeah,
too.
Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
And
Yeah.
Jai Courtney is Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah,
I like him.
Super Australian.
I like him.
Did he die in the first?
No, he
No,
did
no.
not die.
Who died earlier?
The Navajo guy.
Yeah. Oh.
The rope guy.
Yeah, the rogue guy. Anyway, it
guy.
doesn't matter because that's not a movie worth remembering.
Yeah. so
like
if they're
that.
gonna reboot, it's those events never happen.
It's unclear at this
It's
point.
a
Yeah.
different dimension.
It's the easiest explanation.
Because this is the comic book universe. That is the
Yeah.
easiest explanation. That
Right, different universe.
This is another
yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that movie existed, but so did this.
Yeah. So that one's like not New 52. This one's like
Yeah.
yeah.
The
okay.
best ever thing about Suicide Squad, the first movie, was Cara Delevingne, who played the
gosh.
villain.
Yeah.
And the last scene where she's going up against the Suicide Squad and she's doing the whole
Yeah,
that weird
what was
dance.
she trying to do?
it's like a weird dance
I
thing. It's like
know.
what's happening?
At least try harder.
Maybe it's a mating call. Like,
Oh.
remind me of the bird.
She was shaking. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
she was
is
shaking.
okay.
It looked like she was doing the Macarena at one point.
Yeah,
and I don't
maybe
know.
because she wasn't wearing a lot of clothes. She was just cold.
She was shivering.
Shivering.
But I must look cool.
Here's something that's shiveringly bad. It's Transformers The Last Night. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we were all shocked, especially Kai, when it was sort of out there that there is going to be a direct sequel to that movie, which until today, TB is just like, nope.
Nope, no one.
Nope, don't want to watch it.
Yep.
The Last Night, which was, I think, Michael Bay's,
Right.
farewell to the franchise. He's like, you know what? I've made like 5, whatever. It has been cleared up by the producer, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, that the movie that is coming out will not exactly be a 100% direct sequel. They want to make those kind of movies, like a very Michael Bay-esque kind of feel.
Explosions.
Yeah, explosions, but not a direct sequel. But I still
What
don't
does that
think...
mean?
Oh, wow.
It's like a sequel, but it's not a direct sequel.
Essentially, he said, look, we're still working on the script and we'll see what we get and we'll take it from there. I mean, that's how movies work in
Yeah.
general, right? So you can't really say...
They just want more explosions and more
Or they just
robots.
want to use the same characters.
That could be it. That is a very good
right.
point that you raised, that they are going to be using the same characters or
Yeah.
similar characters, or maybe just latching on to that lore that they've built in that movie where
Perhaps.
where Transformers apparently were involved in like World War II and
Yeah.
they've been
Right.
around for
All
ages.
way back.
Even though Bumblebee totally like erased that.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
just came.
Oh well.
Timeline.
That's Hollywood now, and that's the news this week on the Wayang Crew podcast, which leads us to our next bit of the show, which is our review of Pet Sematary, a very scary movie. I watched some of the scenes with one eye closed.
Yeah, same.
Same.
Actually, no, 2 eyes.
I kind of
closed.
crossed my eye so that I don't see
Just so that it
anything.
was blurred.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so this movie is a Stephen King novel which has been adapted into a movie twice now. The first one came out in the 80s. I don't remember it very well, but I do remember watching some parts of it. I probably was too young to be watching it anyway. This movie is a modern reboot of the movie. It still has the same characters in there. A family has just moved from Boston to get away from city life and to raise their kids on this new property in Maine that they have bought. And apparently the whole property is like 50 acres, which is huge.
Yeah.
And behind the house on their property is a pet cemetery.
See, like, why would they buy
Without
property without going there? So, this is like a cemetery behind our house.
Oh, we have a landmark.
But it's a pet cemetery.
Yeah.
And
it's not obvious.
yeah, and the neighbor Judd, played by John Lithgow, tells them that it's been there for generations. When he was a kid, he buried his dog there.
Yeah.
And it's become like a local thing where everyone buries their pets there. That in itself is just creepy. And here's the funny thing about this movie. Most of the creepy stuff happens in the daytime.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, in the daytime. Like we have some scary stuff that happens at night.
But it's
But
not
it's
real.
not like as
Yeah.
scary. Or it's just him sort of sleeping and he's like,
Nightmares.
and then like a nightmare and he wakes up. But the real scary stuff
Oh
happens.
yeah, the hospital one. Oh my god.
Exactly. The real scary stuff happens in the day. Let's get like Tibby's take on this movie.
It's a good movie, but I don't like it. Just because, I don't know, I've been watching too many stressful movies. Before this, it was Us. Now it's this. It's like, I just want to enjoy a movie without having to
Stress
ask
out.
myself whether I should close my eyes or not.
You ask yourself, should I close my eyes?
But yeah, if you like horror movies, you'd probably enjoy this.
Yeah.
This is mostly an above average horror movie for me.
Yeah.
The prosthetics were very good, I would
Really
have to
good.
say, and because I'm very bad with blood, so I'm almost like passed out while watching some of the scene.
Yeah, you were very vocal.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very vocal. Like, oh my god!
Oh yeah.
Like a roller coaster
that's
ride for
true.
you.
You were very vocal on that one scene, especially in the hospital where
Yes,
he was
that's-
working on a patient and
Oh
you were
my
like,
God.
oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
that's true. I remember.
All right.
yeah, that.
That's about it. All right, Naz, what did you think of the story?
I liked the movie. I watched the first one when I was quite young, so I could compare the difference in the story. Like in the first one, it was Gage, right? In this one, if you watch the trailer, it's instead of Gage, it's the older sister Ellie who dies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's
yeah.
not a spoiler because it's
Yeah.
in the trailers, yeah.
Generally, the storyline's the same. I thought scare factor was there, like creepy, scary, and there were a lot of jump scares as well for me. A lot of a good, I don't know, makeup artist as well. Because
I mean, the effects and the
The
makeup
effects,
were
yeah.
really good. Yeah.
really good. The music, the timing for the boom scenes were there. like like when the scene goes like ding. So it's really good and creepy.
So what you're saying is that it builds up the suspense and
Yeah.
then it drops it, and,
Yeah.
and the effect is there.
And I thought the portrayal by I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the Ellie actress
Yeah.
was really good because there you could see how sweet she was before and how evil she became after.
TV's like,
I'm like shaking
Yeah.
my head.
Timmy's just shaking his
I
head.
thought the mother's portrayal of having PTSD, I think, was really good as well because
Yeah.
I really hated her in the movie. I'm like, get a grip, but I mean, but I can't say that. I mean, she has PTSD.
but here's the thing though, like a lot of this movie was actually revealed in the trailer, and
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
was by design.
Yeah.
Because this is a book that's been out, I think, since the 70s.
Yeah.
1986.
No, I mean like
85.
that's when the first movie came out.
89 was the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
89 was the
the
but
movie.
the book was earlier, no?
No, I think the book was 85.
So
Oh,
okay, so
it's
this
not
is
that far.
this is an
Yeah.
80s book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's been out there for a while now,
Yeah.
like the better part of 30 years. And the movie obviously came out towards the end of the 80s.
Yeah.
This is just like, I guess, a retelling or a reboot of that same
Yeah.
story. So the story points, I mean, all the twists and, the basic mechanics of how this world works,
Yeah.
or that Pet Cemetery works, where you bury something that's dead and it comes back to life, is all explained in the trailer. Like,
Yeah.
it's very there. But the movie does suffer from that problem where it tries to tell you again. Like, the whole first half of the movie was just exposition, and they were just making sure that you understood, like,
Every
yes,
single thing. Yes, Wendigo,
Yes.
Indian
Yeah.
land.
And then
Indian
I,
land,
I
yeah.
was like, okay, when is the child is going to die? Like I was waiting. Yeah, I know
thought
the cat is alive now. So when is the kid going to die?
Yeah, and that scene where the kid dies, like it implied that it will be Gage, but then
Yeah.
he saved.
If you
Gage.
don't watch the trailer, like I
Yeah.
did, I stopped halfway watching the trailer
okay.
'cause I was scared. So I thought
Yeah.
Gage would die, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's alive. And then, oh no!
The other kid.
Oh, it's the other kid. Yeah, I didn't expect that because I didn't watch the trailer as well, so I expected Gage to die.
Yeah.
When the truck hit Ellie, I was like, what the heck?
But if you had watched the trailers,
Yeah.
like towards the end,
Yeah.
like that scene where he goes like, hug your daughter.
Yeah.
Like, this is your daughter. It's like, no, it's not my daughter. That scene was in the trailer, that
Yeah.
full scene.
Yeah, it's like,
So,
Like,
The movie
it's
is
such
in
a
the trailer.
spoiler, Yeah.
exactly. Afif, your
alright,
thoughts
for me,
on
I
this
have
movie?
zero expectations of this movie. I have not seen the older ones as well. So for me, on horror movies, especially like this one, most of the moments were a bit cliche, in my opinion. And of course, it's very hard to like retell a story that's already been told, like already been seen by people like for like years.
Yeah.
And for me, seeing this the first time, sure, some of it is quite memorable, but overall, it's a solid movie. I kind of enjoyed it. Not that I enjoy horror movies, I still watch it, but
It's definitely
Yeah.
not it.
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It's
it.
not it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah,
the
it's-
movie
it-
I mean,
The movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
IT.
Like the only reason why I didn't like this as much is if you're expecting a happy ending,
Yeah.
Were
you? Because I didn't expect anything.
I was
Yeah.
like, come on, good will prevail. No.
No, even like in
Oh,
the
sweet
previous
child.
movie, the dad made the same mistake. He's
Yeah.
just so stubborn. He doesn't learn his mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything could be solved if everyone communicate with each other.
But then again, we wouldn't have a movie.
Exactly.
See,
It's like-
there's always
I
that
think
thing.
that's that
Yeah.
cliche factor that people like to use.
I don't know. Are we doing
They're just
spoilers?
so human.
Okay, let's do spoilers from this point on.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
let's just stop
moving
here.
forward, like what we've said so far is generally known about
Yeah.
this movie.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Like
Yeah.
this is what you will know if you watch the trailer.
Yeah,
Yes.
or the
Mo-
book.
Or the book, yeah. Moving forward, like this is gonna be like spoilers. So let's let Tibi get all of this out.
Frustration out. Do it.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, we're done. Spoiler. I really want someone to be alive at the end of the movie.
They kind of are alive.
they're not
but
alive.
that's not them.
Yeah.
they're all dead, and then they got buried, and then they were revived, and then they're like zombie, but not really. They want to kill everyone who.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
they're-
guess they want to turn the whole town into them or something.
Exactly. It's like I don't want to go out of the movie sad, and I'm like, they're still out there walking.
Poor Gage, though.
I don't know. So that's what I didn't like.
You don't like that.
I don't like that
Sad
type.
ending.
But
Right.
I mean,
It's such a open context at the end of the movie.
Well, I
don't-
guess it's left up to your interpretation. So,
Yeah.
so you decide how far this goes. Like, does it become like the whole Maine will become like the undead, or is it the whole of the
I mean,
US?
what if the Avengers decided, this is it? I don't know what happened. Like, so everyone just died. Okay,
like
interpret yourself. So this, I didn't like that.
that
Right.
open
Yeah.
ending.
That bit of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I see where you're coming from, but then again, this is a whole different genre of movie.
I
This
know.
What
is,
if
this is-
Gage killed the family?
Oh, that's gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay, so the general understanding is that when they come back from the dead after being buried in that secret Indian burial ground,
The Wendigo takes over their body.
Yeah.
yeah, which is like something that lives in the woods and it's a
Yeah.
spiritual thing. So I mean, they don't really explain that bit of the story too much.
Yeah.
John Lithgow's character just mentions it, saying that it was hollowed land and they left because the earth was sour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this lives there, and there's like a picture of it in a book, and you're like, all right, like, do I get to see this thing?
I was
We see
expecting
like a
that.
shadow, right? Just
Yeah,
the
like
Just
a-
like a shadow, but you
Yeah.
don't really see it.
See it.
Yeah,
yeah.
can expect to see it at
Like,
least
okay,
once.
there's also one scene that was never explained why
Which one?
Gage drew Pascal's whatever his
Pascal.
name, Victor Pascal's head.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, why did he?
No, because Gage, the young boy, was already seeing Pascal.
Ah.
It's just that it wasn't revealed till he
Almost
started
at the
saying
end.
he started saying the name
Pascal.
and then the mom comes in and goes like, "What's wrong?" And then the mom realizes that's the name of the kid that
Yeah.
died earlier on in the movie,
Yeah.
who the husband couldn't save. And then there's a quick shot, and then you see him.
Yeah.
I mean, the spirit just standing in the corner. So the kid sees
So,
Pascal.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's why he drew it, but it was never explored by the father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought the drawing meant Gage was gonna die.
Like premonition,
Yeah.
this is a sign of things to come.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought maybe Gage had the shine. You know how Stephen King
Yeah.
always
Oh,
had this.
that's true.
Yeah.
Because
The
he
kid-
can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Maybe.
so.
I don't know.
Okay.
A lot of connections to be made here, which is not making TB any happier. It's like, what? I have to read the book now?
TB,
Shine,
the
the
shine.
shining.
He has powers.
Yeah,
He
I
could
know.
kill the family
That's true. He might have killed the family.
with his powers.
Sure. Sure.
Right. There's not very much more we can say about this movie besides telling you the whole thing from A to
Yeah.
Z. So let's not do that. This is.
Go
what
watch
did you guys
it.
think of Zelda's scene, though?
I thought it was creepy, but it wasn't like ghostly creepy. Although there was like a monster characteristic to her.
All right.
There
Like I don't
was.
know why
I
they
feel
made her
pity.
like monstrous.
Why?
No, I think I know why. Because the mother, Rachel,
Yeah.
she suffers from this trauma where she takes responsibility for her sister, Zelda, dying.
Yeah.
And it was an accident because she was scared to go into her room and give her food.
Yeah.
And just for context, the sister is bedridden because she has some form of
Spinal meningitis.
Meningitis.
Yeah, so she cannot walk and she's bedridden essentially.
Also, if you have a kid who has spinal meningitis, do not let a 7-year-old take care of her.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And then just leave her.
So I think that what we see, like the characterization of Zelda, which is Rachel's older sister, is how she
She
saw her
perceives it.
as a child. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's monstrous and hideous. And
Yeah, it's gross.
that's why. So
Yeah.
she's terrified of her sister because
Yeah.
of the appearance. And if it's scary to an adult,
Yeah.
like seeing someone like that at
Yeah.
home, that's kind of sad. Imagine how a kid would
kid
react.
sees
So,
it,
so
yeah.
I think what the manifestation of
kinda smart.
Zelda.
Is what she perceives
Is
her
what
as.
she perceives.
Because we saw a photo of Zelda and she's so
It's like
pretty.
normal, like
Yeah.
normal, I guess.
So maybe she wasn't that disfigured.
Maybe she wasn't. It
Yeah.
was just like her fears,
Yeah.
altering her perception of
Yeah.
her sister. So there you go. I guess that explains one aspect of the movie. Although it's still a bit too open-ended for TB, and he's still like, no,
Just
no.
sitting there. Yeah,
Zelda's a
thinking.
monster. No.
All right, let's give our ratings for Pet Cemetery TB.
I'll give it a 7 dead cats
Okay,
out of
Aw.
7 churches because it's Winston Churchill
10. Yeah, 7
is the name of the cat. All right, Naz.
I give it a 7 tombstones over 10. Yeah.
Nice. Afif?
Solid 7 roadkill cats.
It's so dark.
It's solid because it's been there for a while. Oh, okay, no, never mind.
I'm gonna give this movie like a 6.8. Scary masked children on the way to bury their pets. It's not like a great movie. It's not something that you'll come out of the cinema going, "Oh my god, that was so awesome!" But it does manage to keep you suspensed in your seat.
Yeah.
You do ask questions and you hope
And you
for
will close your eyes.
yeah.
It's like when you go out a movie, you like, I need to watch happier movie after this.
Yeah.
Type of
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
It's a good thing there was a video of the goats on top of the roof right after the movie. I could sleep
That's something
right after
happened
the movie.
locally.
That's something very localized to
Yeah.
Brunei for our international listeners. What happened this week? Because Brunei is such a small place, any funny or tragic bit of news gets shared on social media really, really quickly. And this week we had a couple of goats
Stuck on a roof.
stuck on a roof, and
The house is 2 stories high.
and they had to call the fire department to come in and try and catch it. It was a whole thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's become a meme in this country.
Yeah.
Maybe YouTube it. Maybe it's
YouTube it or like
Yeah.
just put it on Google. Brunei goat roof. That's
Yeah.
it. You'll see it. All right, so that's our review this week of Pet Sematary. It's now showing here in local cinemas, so do catch it. It is. I wouldn't say it's a family movie. Definitely not. This
Don't
is.
bring your kids.
Don't bring your kids.
Don't
They
bring
will
your
have
kids.
nightmares. But yeah, it is an overall good movie. If you're a horror fan, this might just tickle your fancy. Which leads us to our next bit of the show, which is called.
Oi, apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat? Hoi, 看什么看？ Apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat?
那看什么看？
Apa liat-liat? See what see? 笑了。
Yep, that is right. It's Apa Liat Liat, and it's what else we have been watching besides Pet Cemetery. Let's mix it up a little bit here. Let's go to Afif.
Right. Been seeing, rewatching Resident Evil. Yeah. With her.
You had a marathon.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
From
That's
yesterday.
cheating. They're like doing this like 2 in 1.
Yeah.
No. I can talk about the first two.
Well, you see, the thing
Resident Evil.
is, TB, like on Friday night, we watched the first one while we were having our coffee.
Oh.
It was playing in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same one
Yeah.
we watched.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention.
You were not, I was.
okay.
And I was looking
So
at
it's
screen-
all of us.
Right.
We
To
all
me, Resident Evil has been my, what do you call that? Guilty pleasure. It's not a great movie, but I like it anyway.
Yeah.
It's cheesy.
Especially the first one. I like the enjoy.
I
it.
love the
one
first
was
and
really
second.
good.
Yeah.
Second one was good because it was like the game. You're stuck in Raccoon City,
Yeah.
and then you're like, going through corridors looking for ammo, killing.
She likes looting.
I love looting. So every movie I'd be like, why didn't you take all of the ammo? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
But
besides
yeah.
anything else besides Resident Evil from the two of you?
We saw Jurassic
seriously.
Park Fallen Kingdom, particularly that sad scene.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually videoed it.
We videoed the sad scene where the dinosaur was
the
dying in the
brontosaurus
island.
like left on the island while the volcano was.
That was a
like-
very
erupting.
ET kind of moment. Like,
yeah, and then
okay,
at the
I
shadow.
get it. That I'm sorry to say, but that was how I just can't accept that movie. It's still such a bad movie.
It was
Overall,
tragic.
overall,
Bad
it's-
Jurassic
true.
Park.
It's a
movie.
bad
Yeah,
Jurassic Park
it
movie.
wouldn't-
It's like the second Jurassic Park movie was bad.
Oh no! Don't even mention that, please. I love dinosaurs, but that's just too much.
Second one, right? With what's his name?
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Goldblum.
The Goldblum, who is the Grandmaster. Anyway,
Yes.
so that's Afif and Nazu. That's their Apa Liat Liat. TB.
I don't know why, but I rewatched Initial D, the movie on Netflix.
The anime or the?
Does it make you happy?
The actual Jay Chow one.
Oh.
I thought it was. I remember enjoying it when I first saw it. And then
my God.
I watched it again. I was like, this movie's rubbish.
Maybe back then it was.
Yeah, but I think back then it's because it's the Fast and Furious
Yeah.
Era, yeah.
And then,
Like racing cars.
Yeah, racing cars, and then they just wanted to.
Do it.
Do it,
Yeah, it was
because-
Taiwanese, right?
It's a
Hong Kong.
Hong
movie.
Kong.
Yeah, it's made by a Hong Kong
It's
company.
like it's so bad.
Okay, fine. In retrospect, it is. We had this conversation earlier on. I sort of defended the movie a little bit by saying that if you had read the original Initial D comics, the scenes that they portray on the screen, like in the film, takes from the comic
Yeah.
panels. Like directly, which is probably why it's a
pretty
little bit.
cool.
Yeah,
but then
it's-
again,
it's
like
that, yeah.
the pacing is all wrong in that
Yeah.
movie. Like things don't line up.
How was the
and-
acting?
Bad.
Especially Jay
So
Chow.
bad.
It was-
Especially the main character.
yeah.
So bad. It's
Okay.
really
It's
so
like
bad.
he has no like feelings at all. It's like he
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
straight face.
He's just Oh,
because he's
straight-
detached.
not even
Yeah,
like what do you call it? That like when a guy makes that serious face.
Brooding.
Brooding.
Yeah.
He wasn't brooding.
No.
No, it was just like
There.
like he literally looks like he's not thinking about anything at all.
Yeah.
Like blank.
He looks like he's on the spectrum. He does. Because there's a scene in that movie where there's like a fly and he's like,
Oh.
it's yeah. Anyway, there are certain people in that movie who have totally dropped out of the limelight, like Edison Chen.
Yeah.
He's not in movies anymore. Although he
Isn't
does.
he like? Does he have a bad record?
He had
He has a bad record.
for drugs or something?
No,
There's like
no,
a
no.
sexual scandal.
Scandal.
And it forced him to sort of leave Hong Kong. I think he's in the US now.
I like it.
He has he has been in a few movies after that scandal.
Like a few movies.
But he wasn't a starring role.
Very minor roles. All right. I have not watched very much this week for Untitled Liat, but I do have to say this. Over the last couple of months, what I have done is when I'm doing work in the living room or I'm having dinner, Friends is playing in the background. And I've reached the end now, and I don't know what to do with my life anymore.
Rewatch it again.
I thought you watched the Ultraman.
I watched like the first episode, and I'm like, I cannot get into this at all. There is
Is it better though?
there is an
Yes.
Ultraman anime
Yeah.
series on Netflix.
Animated. Okay.
And it's really over the top because it's an anime. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I
I'm
can't
gonna
get into
I'm gonna
this.
try it later.
Try it and tell me what you think.
'Cause I just finished the F1, the
Drive to Survive.
I just
Wow.
finished that, so I might start something new.
All right, so
Pokemon XY is also out.
sorry,
Pokemon XY is on Netflix.
Netflix.
Okay.
he's a Pokemon fan.
No, I just play the mobile game.
Sure.
That's it, yeah.
That's what they all say. Anyway, so that's our show this week. Next week, what are we doing next week, guys?
I don't know.
Well, let's see what
Preparation
comes
for
out.
Waiting for Avengers.
If we don't have anything to review next week, let's do another like recap of Avengers: Infinity War and talk about what we can expect in Endgame. So yeah, we'll see what happens next week. I'd like to thank all my panelists this week, TB, Nazu, and our new regular, Afif, for joining me here today on this episode. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.